So here's a question for all of us. Do you feel a little guilty this year? Guilty because you can't see your family, or guilty because you're not doing the things you want to do, or you're not doing it right, or maybe you can't give your kids the kind of Christmas you think that they had hoped for?
Yeah, well, our friend Valorie Burden says kick the guilt to the curb, and she's written all about it in her new book, Let Go of the Guilt, Stop Beating Yourself Up, and Take Back Your Joy.
Valorie, it's great to see you. And first of all, I think guilt this year is in overdrive. I think we're all feeling it in ways we have never felt before. But isn't some of it warranted? Like, shouldn't we feel guilty about some things?
Well, there's authentic guilt when you actually have done something wrong, but a lot of the guilt that people are feeling right now around spending because money might be tight, or travel, or saying no to parties and gatherings, or going to be together with friends, it's false guilt, because obviously COVID is beyond our control. So when we feel guilty as though we've done something wrong, that's what we like to call false guilt, and we can let that go.
Yeah, and how do we distinguish? Because Hoda and I were saying probably most everything is false guilt. You know, a lot of it we make worse for ourselves.
We do. So false guilt is when we tell ourselves, we feel like we're doing something wrong as opposed to actually doing something wrong. So, we've got so many people making hard decisions about, for example, seeing their family, seeing parents who might be alone, not being able to buy gifts and feeling like they should go into debt. Those are things that we know we should not do, because we want to do what will keep us safe and what's also going to keep us solvent right now, with a lot of people struggling financially.
We're going to talk about exactly how to do that. We love the concept. We want to know how to let it go. We're going to take a quick break, and we are going to come back with more questions for Valorie. We want more from our viewers telling us what they're feeling guilty about after this. We're back with Valorie Burton, the author of Let Go of the Guilt. And Valorie, we've got a lot of viewers who've been writing in, and they're telling us the reasons they're feeling guilty, like you're not doing enough or all those things. But what should you do about that emotion, that feeling?
Well, one, you want to examine it. Like, what am I feeling guilty about? What am I saying to myself? And is it true? So when we think, for example, about wanting to change how we're doing Christmas, like doing things very differently, we're doing that because this is a different year. And I think one of the reasons that it's so hard is because we've experienced so much loss this year. So when we get to the holidays and we're having to change that, it just compounds the loss.
Yeah, I think so many times guilt is about other emotions. Like your mom guilt because you just love them so much that it's more about love, or maybe about you as a little kid. So with kids in particular, what can we say to ourselves?
Well, number one, I think it's really important for us to recognize there's also an opportunity in this. It's not just loss. There's an opportunity not only for us to be resilient and to accept what is right now, and that it's going to be different next year and 2 years from now, and to also teach that to our kids. There's something extraordinary going on, and we're coming together as a country and as a world so that we can beat this. And so that means we can't do what we normally do, and that's okay.
All right, well, here's one. These are what our viewers are actually saying to us on Instagram, which kind of fits in this lane perfectly. One of our viewers says, I don't want to give or receive presents this year, but I feel that I should.
So should is a telltale sign of guilt. It is just one of those words we use when we're feeling guilty. And it's about other people's expectations. I should says other people say that I should, or culture says that I should. You have to decide what matters to you and be willing to stick up for that. This year, I'm not giving gifts. I don't want you I don't want to receive gifts, so don't give me one. This is not anything negative. This is where I am. And it could be for a variety of reasons, money or otherwise. And you can also decide to do some other things. How can you help someone who is struggling? How are you going to reach out more than you normally would? Because we all need that sense of connection this year more than ever.
Yeah, I think that's such a good idea. Not everything comes in packages. Okay, our second viewer says, I feel guilty about not being able to let their grandparents see their grandson. I think a lot of people are feeling this.
This is a really hard one. Again, more false guilt, even though it might not feel like it. Number one, tell yourself, look, this is hard. There's even research that shows that when we have compassion on ourselves and just say it's hard, it lowers our stress level. So that's really important. But also, perhaps planning something for the future. I know of one family that is planning their Christmas for next July.
Oh, that's a good idea.
We can't get together. So we're just going to do it in July. We feel like things will be very different then. It might be something like that where you choose to do something different or something extra special. Might not be in person, but it's different than what you would have done a year ago or what you'll do a year from now.
Here's another one from our viewer, Valerie. It says, I'm not giving of myself enough to my church, to my adult children, to my friends. I feel selfish.
So enough is another one of those guilt words. And it's often that we either have outdated expectations, so things that made sense last year that don't make sense now, and we're still expecting that we can do it. And sometimes it's vague expectations. So make a list. Maybe it's 2, 3, 4 things that make your Christmas this year enough. What are the things that you will do that will make it enough, and it will look different than last year? And that's okay. Again, you have to just keep saying, it's okay. 2020 is not a normal year, so it's not going to be our regular Christmas.
Oh, Valerie,
Good, Valerie.
come every day.
Awesome. Thank you, Valerie.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. You can check out that book, Let Go of the Guilt, at today.com/shop.
A good gift for a lot of people.